Hey y'all, welcome back. Today I'm using $25 to make 5 different meals that come together in about 5 minutes. These recipes are so delicious. I think they're great for families, singles, couples, you name it. Any household size, I think will really love these recipes. So let's head to the store and pick up some things first. And here is my list. It is a pretty long list, so hopefully we can find some good deals. Let's see, I need blueberries, $2.39 for a pint. There's not very many left though. Oh my goodness, hopefully they're good. Cheaper than I thought though, so that's good. Okay, next is a cucumber for 58 cents. I don't want to set things down on the cart directly. All right, next is peppers, $2.89. How many do I get? 3 or 4? Just 3. That's okay, that'll be enough. Perfect. Zucchini, $1.16 a pound. Okay, this one's $1.67, so that's perfect. Not too much. What kind of onion do I need? I think I need yellow onion. They only have the red onion, but I do have a white onion at home, so I'm going to guess about $1 or so. And I'm just going to use this from home. Okay, bananas are next for 39 cents a pound. How many do I need? Okay, I'm just going to do it with the one thing. So these ones look really good. Perfect. 38 cents a pound. You're looking at a little over 2 pounds, almost 2.5 pounds. 95 cents. Okay, write that down. Perfect. Okay, next is peanuts, $2.19 for 16 ounces. I need bread. What kind of bread? I like the buttermilk bread, $2.35. These other options, $1.75 for that. Honey wheat bread. And $1.49 for whole wheat. $1.29 for classic white. That is such a good price. But we really like this buttermilk, so I'll probably just do that. But this is probably a better deal if you're really on a tight budget. $1.29. Okay, we'll just do this one for $2.35. Since it's already in the budget. I need chickpeas, black beans, and what am I saying? Black beans and pinto beans. 87 cents. Okay, here we go. Garbanzo beans, just one of those. 87 cents for that. 1 can of black beans for 86 cents. I am running into stuff. Perfect. And I just need some pinto beans. I just need a little can of pinto beans. This one is $1, and that is 6.6 cents per ounce. And this giant one, and that's only 5.5 cents per ounce, $1.65. So maybe I'll just get the giant one and then freeze the rest. That's what I'll do. $1.65 for that. Next, I need a couple cans of tuna, and they're 88 cents each. Such a good price. And I love that this one has, let's see, where is the protein? 23 grams of protein in a can. So that is really great. Only 110 calories, and I love that. So let's go ahead and get 2. Perfect. Cottage cheese, $2.55. Low fat or full fat? Somebody said the sugar is higher in the low fat. There's 4 grams of sugar in the full fat, and there is 4 grams of sugar in the low fat. Same exact amount of sugar. So just the difference really is the calories and the fat. But this week I'm just going to go with full fat. I really like the flavor, so just do that. Perfect. Now I just need feta. Oh, this one's only $1.89. 47.3 cents per ounce. This one's 41 cents per ounce. I normally get that for $3.29 because I just usually crumble it myself. But I am on a tight budget, so let's just get this one for $1.89. $1.89 for 4 ounces. Feta cheese. Okay, slivered almonds here, $2.89. There we go. 84 cents each. These are the best I could find. Not quite ripe yet. And that should be everything though. Perfect. Let's go see what the total is. Today's total for everything was $27.12. The first thing I want to do when I get home from the store is prep my veggies for this evening's dinner. There is going to be a little bit of prep involved for these recipes, but it only takes about 20 or 30 minutes depending on how quickly you can chop. And that's going to be 20 or 30 minutes for the entire 5 meals. So it really doesn't take very long. And I may not be using all of the bell peppers, and you may not as well. And if you don't, you can just freeze them whole. And then when you're ready to use them, you can just rinse them and use them at that point. But again, that's just for cooking them, not for eating them raw. And that's up to you. So that might save you a little bit on the budget too if you don't buy as many bell peppers. I may only be using 1 or 2 for the week. So I am thinly slicing this bell pepper and this zucchini, and that is very important. The thinner you slice them, the faster they will cook. So if you truly want this to be a 5-minute meal, thinly slice these veggies, because then they will cook much faster. And now that all of that prep is done, took me about 5 minutes or so to chop everything, maybe less. I'm just going to put these in the refrigerator for later, so it's easier for me to throw together dinner when it's time. This first recipe is going to be a really delicious take on a grilled cheese. I'm just going to heat a large pan over medium heat and add some avocado oil. If you don't have any oil on hand, that's fine. You can use butter, or you can just omit the oil or butter altogether and just use a little bit of water to help you cook these veggies. That's totally fine. I'm adding about half of the zucchini and the entire bell pepper and seasoning with salt and pepper. And then I'm just going to saute this for about 2 or 3 minutes. Because they're so thin, they're going to cook really fast. And I like my bell peppers to still have a little bit of a bite to them and not be soggy. So it just depends on what kind of texture you like with your veggies. But 2 minutes or 3 minutes should be perfect. Then I'm going to wipe that out just a little bit, but that's optional. You don't have to wipe out the pan. You can just use the residual oil. I'm going to add butter though, because I love butter on my grilled cheese. But again, that's totally up to you. And then I'll add my bread. Then to one side, I'm going to be adding my veggies. I'm just going to fit as many veggies as I can. This is going to be about 2 to 4 servings of veggies, depending on how many veggies you add to your bread. Then I'm topping that with just a little bit of Italian seasoning to taste, and then about 1 ounce of feta. But again, the amounts are going to be dependent upon what you want to do. You can always purchase a little bit more feta just so you can have a little extra for the week for another recipe later on. Then you're just going to toast both sides, and that's going to be it for this. And let me just tell you, this is one of the best grilled cheese sandwiches I have ever had. You have to try this one. And the leftover veggies will go in the fridge for the next day, and I'll have enough feta for 4 servings. Now this next recipe, I am using a lime, or if you have a lemon, but honestly, if I could redo this recipe, I would probably just use some sort of vinegar like white wine vinegar or apple cider vinegar, because I think that would work just fine. Whatever you have on hand though, if you have lime or lemon, you can do that. So to my jar, I zested the lime and added about 2 to 3 tablespoons of the lime juice, and added about 5 or 6 tablespoons of olive oil, about a tablespoon of honey, and a little bit of cracked pepper. And I did add a tiny bit of salt later on. Just gave it a good mix until it was completely combined. And there you have it. That took about 1 minute to throw that entire dressing together. And you can just leave this in the refrigerator until you're ready to make your lunch or dinner here. So this recipe is actually going to be a tuna stuffed avocado. And don't worry, if you don't like tuna, you can definitely use some canned chicken, rotisserie chicken, whatever you love, or even some canned salmon. They would all work beautifully for this. We're just going to cut open our avocado and remove the pit. Then we'll just add the drained tuna straight to each half of avocado evenly. Then I'm just going to drizzle it with about 1/4 of that dressing mixture that we made, and you can save the rest of that dressing for later on when you want to make the rest of this. Or of course, if you're eating it all at once for 4 people, you'll use it all. But this is a super delicious, very satisfying meal. I can't wait to hear what you think of this one. It really surprised me. This next meal idea is perfect for anybody that needs to take something to work that they can't heat up, or they just have a refrigerator and that's it. This is going to be really great for that. It's a perfect meal prep meal, and it's perfect for families or for singles as well. There is a little bit of prep involved. We're just going to cube the cucumber. It only takes a minute or so. And this onion is optional. A sweet onion or a red onion works best for this. Something that's not too sharp. We're just going to dice that finely, and we're only using a little bit of onion. So if you don't want to use onion, you really don't have to. Then in a jar, I'm making some more dressing here. I'm just using 3 tablespoons of white wine vinegar, 5 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, 1 tablespoon of honey, a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, a little bit of fresh cracked pepper, and a little dash of salt. I'm just going to give that a good shake until it all comes together, and then I'm just going to keep that in the refrigerator until I'm ready to cook this meal idea. So this will just last all week long in the fridge if you want to just make it all at once. Now, when it comes time to make the meal, I'm just going to drain and rinse all of my beans. I'm adding a can of black beans, a can of pinto beans, and a can of chickpeas. Then I'll add that cucumber. This is about 2 cups of chopped cucumber, and I'm just adding a little bit of onion. We love onion, so we like the sharpness of the onion here, but if you really don't like onion, just omit it. And I'm just adding about a half a cup of finely diced onion and just a little bit of Italian seasoning to taste. It was probably about a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon altogether. And then we're just going to pour that dressing right over everything and then give it a good toss. Now, a quick note about the dressings in this video. If you don't have any of these ingredients on hand, that's fine. I just recommend picking up a very inexpensive white wine vinaigrette or any vinaigrette you love and just use that instead. So now once we've tossed everything together, I'm just going to serve this evenly in bowls, just cold, just like that. It is super delicious. I had a tiny bit of feta left over, so I did add that, but that's completely optional. And if you want to get more feta for these, definitely do that. It's great that way too. Now, I did have some leftover pinto beans. As you remember, I had that big container, so I just drained and rinsed it, and then I just froze half just like that in a little baggie for later. This next meal idea is perfect for breakfast, lunch, or a snack. I'm using cottage cheese, and this time I'm using full fat. Now, in one of my previous videos, somebody had mentioned that the lower fat cottage cheese has more sugar, so I compared the nutritional facts and saw that they have the exact same amount of sugar. So don't worry, use full fat or low fat, whatever you prefer. Now, I did notice that this particular cottage cheese has carrageenan in it, and I personally was surprised to find that, and I can't really have much of it. So if you can't have cottage cheese for whatever reason, you can actually use Greek yogurt instead. They do have similar amounts of protein, which is what I wanted to make sure I got in this meal idea because it is so few ingredients. I wanted to make sure it was nice and filling. So this non-fat Greek yogurt or the full-fat Greek yogurt has tons of protein as well. Just use whatever you prefer and whatever satisfies you. And really, it does not make a difference. Cottage cheese or a Greek yogurt will work really great in this recipe. So to a bowl, I added about a half a cup of cottage cheese. If I was using Greek yogurt, I'd probably do about 3/4 of a cup, but I'm not measuring. I just spooned that into a small bowl and then added some blueberries that I had just washed in a vinegar rinse and put in a mason jar in the fridge. They'll last great all week long just like that, and it's easier for me to eat them at that point if they're already washed. Now I'm using slivered almonds, but you can use any almonds or nuts that you have on hand. I'm just going to top that with those, and that's going to be it for this dish. You can add a little bit of honey on top or some maple syrup. It is a perfect meal prep meal too, and you can just make it in advance. I went ahead and added some honey to mine because that's how I like it, but you can do maple syrup. And I have had this on a waffle before. It's a really great way to get grains too in your breakfast while also getting a ton of protein. They make protein waffle mixes too, so you could do that or add some protein powder or something if that's what you like to your waffle mix. I've heard people do that too before, or peanut butter powder. I've heard that too. Lots of great options for adding more protein or grains to this. So, I mean, really the sky's the limit. Whatever you want to do is fine, but this is a really, really easy 2-minute meal. And again, if you want to add it on top of a waffle, maybe a whole grain waffle or a protein waffle, that would be really good too. Gotta try this one though, so good. Next, I want to make some peanut butter. All I need is the peanuts and a food processor or a blender and a jar or something to keep it in. The reason why I bought the peanuts and not the peanut butter already made is I like to keep a little bit of the peanuts for snacking or as a topping, for some texture change. But if you just want to buy the already made peanut butter, it might be a little less expensive. It might be the same price. But again, this is just going to be peanuts. I'm not going to add oil or anything, just peanuts, and I'm going to make some peanut butter real quick. This is my KitchenAid. I think it's a 3.5 cup food processor, so I'm not going to be able to fit all of the peanuts in here anyway, so it's actually perfect. Just pour those in. So I can only usually fit about 12 ounces, I think, approximately. I have these peanuts, so I'm going to end up with quite a few peanuts at the bottom here. I can always make them into peanut butter later if I want to, if I need more peanut butter. But this is just going to be blended for about 8 minutes or so, and then it will be the perfect consistency for me. But you can test it out. Probably check about 5 minutes. If you like it to be a little bit more on the crunchy side, you might be ready at 5 minutes, but if you like it really smooth, 8 to 10 minutes is usually pretty good. Let's get started. When you first start blending, the peanuts might seem dry. Just keep on blending and the oil will release. It'll all come together. All right, it has been 8 minutes or so. Let me get some of the crumbs off the top here though. Give it a quick little spin. Now everything is nice and mixed together. This is the perfect consistency for me for peanut butter, and that's it. That's how we make peanut butter. Also, the great thing about making the peanut butter from scratch is you can add, you know, chia seeds or other seeds and nuts to this mixture and really make it your own. I've seen a nut mixture called Nutso, I think is what it's called. It's like a mixture of all kinds of nuts and seeds, and I thought that was brilliant. And you can actually just make that yourself though. So I have chia seeds in my fridge all the time. So if I wanted to, I could just add that in here while I'm blending it. You can also add some sweetener, like some honey, if you want to have the honey and the peanut butter together. You could do that as well. So I love this, so easy, and you can really make it your own. You can add salt if you want some saltiness too. We are a lower sodium household, so I chose the unsalted peanuts for this. And if I wanted to, I could add as much or as little salt as I want to this. But that's it for this. So easy. You can see how delicious and creamy this turned out. I really highly recommend giving this a try. Now I have to have a quick taste of this. Can't make it without tasting it. Okay, I'm gonna put a lid on and put it in the fridge, and then I'll show you in just a minute a 5-minute meal I can make with this. There are so many quick and easy meals that I can make using peanut butter, but not surprisingly this week, I'm just going to be making a peanut butter sandwich. Now I'm adding a little bit of honey because honey is something that I already have on hand, and I love honey with peanut butter. If you have not tried it, definitely give this one a go. You can also add some milled flax or some chia seeds or anything that you like, some slivered almonds or some crunchy peanuts, whatever you want to add to the sandwich. And of course, it's just a super easy lunch idea. Now, I did hear that eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich can increase your life expectancy. I have no idea if that's true, but I mean, really, there's something to say about a delicious peanut butter sandwich. I just served mine with some peanuts on the side and a whole banana, and that is it for this lunch. It really does not get any easier than that. I hope y'all got some inspiration from these recipes. I'm super excited to hear what you think of them if you try any of them. And if you have any requests or suggestions for future meal plans or recipes, please be sure to put them down below in the comments, whether it's gluten-free, dairy-free, high protein, or if you're just looking for a specific budget in mind or anything like that, please put it down below because I do take them very seriously and I want to make sure I am making videos that you all want to watch. So if you put them down below, I'll write them down. I'll make sure I work on something really, really soon. Now YouTube wants you to watch something else and thinks you might like a different kind of video. So go ahead and click on that, enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.